one really watches the live.
Yeah, we all tweet it out and like 6 people watch it.
Yeah.
All the SM guys.
Yeah.
So say whatever you want.
Oh, definitely.
Ours is similar with the Sunday Soak. We get a few dozen people watching it live, and then everyone watches it sort of whenever they can catch it during the week or Monday or whatever.
Yep.
I totally understand.
Yeah. Oh, and like as Nuke was saying, no restrictions. Let it fly.
Oh, okay. Cursing and everything. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, shit, ass, damn. There you go.
No earmuffs.
No
And we're
earmuffs.
live.
Yeah, and we're live. I'm
Welcome to the Pinwheels and Ivy.
As soon as Aldo gets it tweeted out, we'll all retweet it, and then we'll get going.
Special guest. Oops.
Mr. Delicious. I love that handle, by the way.
Thank you. That's a pre 108 blog handle.
Yes, it's fantastic.
All right, tweet it out.
All right, let me get it. I'll retweet it up, and then we'll go. Retweet one. Let me do the second retweet.
We really do a good job of planning,
Yes, as you can
see. I keep telling Zoe to wear the sunglasses and just like have that be his thing.
Oh, they're downstairs. Yeah, they're downstairs.
Just call them shades.
But I'm going to call you Father Zoe. Is that okay?
That's
Father
fine.
Zoe.
I like it. I like it. I've been called a lot worse. So, all right, Aldo, you ready, bud?
Yep, we're live.
All right. What's going on, everybody? It is I don't know the day, so we're gonna start over again. All right.
Hot start.
Never mind.
Hot start. 3, 2. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday, November 2nd. It's just that caught me off because it's November. That messed me up. It's November 2nd, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. Super special edition. Very prestigious episode. I'm your host, Matt Sawaski. They call me Zoe. With me, as always, are my guys Aldo Soto.
We're gonna go hard with the White Sox this episode, but I do want to point out it's the 1-year anniversary of the Cubs winning the World Series.
All right, that's your 1 minute.
Or no, wait, 2 years. Shit.
That's your one, and you messed it up.
I messed it up. So there's our Cubs talk. I already messed up.
And also looking as handsome as ever, Mr. Matanuco. What's up, Nuke?
I'm doing well. I want you to meet my friend Bill Cosby.
That's so weird, dude. It's so weird. It's so weird. But since you already toasted it, why don't we just jump to it because we got a lot to get to. What is the fancy bitch drink of the week, Nuke?
I'm actually drinking beer.
What kind of beer?
We're going with a microbrew, Tonewood, Little Fuego.
You're still dancing in fancy bitch territory.
Can't even get it in Chicago. Can't even get it in the Midwest.
So now you're a pretentious fancy bitch.
Yes, I am.
Okay, just so you know.
But I mean, you knew that.
Yes. So let's pull back the curtain. This is a very special episode because with us is the one, the only Mr. Delicious, a.k.a. BeefLoaf, a.k.a. Mr. Loaf, a.k.a. Mr. Steal Your Lady while he's 108ing. BeefLoaf from the 108 crew is with us live if you're watching it on YouTube, but he is with us right now. Mr. Loaf, it is an honor to have you here. Welcome to Pinwheels and Ivy.
Father Zoe, Matt, Aldo, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Happy to have you on.
Very happy. So with Mr. Loaf, it's going to be funny saying Mr.
I feel
Loaf.
like, since this is a 108 thing, shouldn't he introduce his drink with him?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
what
that's
what
what I was going to do. So your viewers, because we're watching on YouTube, are happy to make fun of me. I'm drinking a Dragon's Milk, but I'm drinking it out of a stemless wine glass because I was too lazy to go in my basement and just get a pint glass. My wife's looking at me like, "Why are you pouring that in there?" I'm like, "I don't care. I'm just going to sit at the island. I'm going to drink this." So it's like an 11%er, and my parents gave it to me for Halloween. This is what you get when you're 40 and you go trick or treating. Mom and Dad give you the Dragon's Milk, the big boy, and that's what you get. So it's wonderful.
That's fantastic.
There you go.
Dragon's Milk is good. It's like thick, like chocolate milk type, but it'll put you on your ass. It'll get you where you want to go.
Yeah. I probably won't last much longer than the end of this podcast.
So with Mr. Loaf, I swear I'm going to laugh every time I say Mr. Loaf. With Mr. Loaf.
I think I said that we should make a beef sandwich today. Didn't I say that?
You did use that horrible pun earlier. So
no beef sandwiches today. I've already eaten 5 McRibs.
He did eat
before
5
we came on.
McRibs.
I ate 5 McRibs today. I don't know why I ate 5 McRibs. I just decided I was going to do it, and I put on Twitter. And it started getting a following, and I ate 2 at lunch, and I'm like, oh, I have to follow through with this. So I'm in the drive-thru with my daughter this evening for dinner, and I'm like, I can't order 3 McRibs, and then there's no one in the car but me and my 8-year-old daughter. And like, I was almost embarrassed ordering it, and then I ordered it. I'm like, all right, we've got to go through it. Finish it off. And I ate them.
Yeah, boy.
Dedication to the mission.
They're still with me, so to speak. Okay, so if I got to run off camera, you'll know what's going on.
Completely understood that with the dragon's milk. Holy shit. So with BeefLoaf joining us today, this is going to be a very White Sox centric episode. For our Cubs fan listeners, don't worry about it. You won a World Series 2 years ago, so shut up. And we will be doing a Cubs offseason episode next week with a Cubs cast. But with all that being said, that's the longest intro in the history of our show. Let's tap this keg. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, as I mentioned, we do have BeefLoaf from the 108 crew with us today. So before we dive into the White Sox offseason stuff, we got to get into it, man. It took Twitter by storm this season during a pretty dismal White Sox season. It was
the only bright spot.
Yeah, it was like a glimmering light. It like gave us something, and it was a really cool season because it was so shitty. But White Sox Twitter was awesome. It was just like a lot of fun. It was like hanging out. And I felt like, how when you're growing up, you have like that friend's house that everyone goes and meets up at? I felt like 108 crew was that on Twitter for White Sox fans. Like it was like a common rallying cry we could all come around to. So BeefLoaf, why don't you kind of just, how did this get going? How did this get legs?
So the original hashtag 108ing thing was something that we actually started almost 2 calendar years ago. We went back and looked, and the first hashtag 108ing tweet was a tweet that I made. It might have even been for my personal account on January 15th of 2017. And all through the 17 season, didn't really take. We were trying to do it. We were trying to push it a little bit here or there. And then coming into 18, I guess the dismal year just sort of prompted everyone to like, well, what am I going to do now while I'm drinking? And the 108 guys are drinking. And I'm just going to say hi. It's effectively like people saying hi to us and raising a drink to us each time. And so that's sort of what it's become. And then, of course, once we got to about mid-season and Daniel Palka became our best friend in the whole fucking world and we started doing it, then it really took off. So, like, we already had the snowball rolling, and that's sort of how he saw it. And then he just jumped on in from there. And then we still get them now, even though there's no games going on. People tweet us from Hawks games or tweeted us from, like, they're sitting in their den, just cracking one open and their hashtag 108ing. So it's kind of funny. We have a friend, and he's actually a Cubs fan, but he told one of the other guys, he's like, I have no idea how these guys have tricked everyone into thinking this drinking is 108ing. So that's basically, and everyone's sort of bought into it, so it's fun. And we try to mix up with other stuff. So like we've had people not even drinking, just like, hey, my kid is gonna wear this. Maybe we want to wear one of our shirts or wear a Sox shirt, like maybe potentially inappropriately somewhere, and they'll hashtag it 108 to take a picture of their kids. So like, it's kind of a whole family.
Oh, I love it, and I mean, I guess coming from that, now you guys all blog too as well, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So where can everybody find your stuff?
So we have a WordPress site, and probably the best place to access any of our blog posts is literally just looking at our Twitter line. I mean, you can go to our blog, our WordPress site, the @FromThe108 as well. But in Twitter and also on Facebook. And truth be told, our Facebook page is almost entirely just blog posts. We don't do a lot of interaction there. But on Twitter, you can find not only that, but you can also find our store. There's a link to our store there, and there's a link to our store on Instagram as well. We're sort of getting new into the Instagram. We haven't been on there too much because a lot of what we do is just sort of like, goofy gifs and dumb jokes and you can't really do dumb jokes that well on Instagram. So we've started taking pictures of ourselves and getting shots at games and stuff, and we're getting in there. But you can find all of our stuff there. We have a big cartel shop, and actually we just put out some new hoodies. So we have 108 hoodies. I should have mine on right now, but I don't. I wore it to work. So we have t-shirt. We have the #108ing t-shirt, and we actually have ladies fit as well. So if your girlfriends or wives want to get a better cut shirt for women, we have a ladies cut shirt as well.
That's awesome.
It was amazing to see like how it didn't stay, like the hashtag didn't stay in Chicago. It was like I would see it in like Cleveland or even New York, like all over the country. I was like, wow, this thing spread. And you guys are so like witty and sharp with your stuff and your gifts and all of your like whenever it pops up in my feed, I'm like, I'm in.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's two things. It's really surprising how many White Sox fans there are across the country and even across the pond. We've met White Sox fans from the UK that have come out to tailgates and hung out and just want to say hi or whatever. So it's kind of weird how they're spread. You always think of the Cubs having the wide-reaching fan base, and they do. And you don't think the White Sox are like that. You think it's literally just like anywhere south of Roosevelt, cut off at like I-80, and that's it. Those are Sox fans, and a little bit of Northwest Indiana, and you're done, right? But it's kind of not like that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and you're talking about the wittiness. I always tell my wife, she's like, because a lot of what we do is just the banter that we would normally. If you come to 108 and sit in the seats with us, it will sound a lot like what the Twitter feed looks like. People making
be careful.
People, like
be careful. You may have a mass migration to the 108 next year. You're going to have like personal security.
That's actually.
I think you might.
That actually was my next question. How has the
108 filled out?
How has the game changed for you? Because I see all these people, and you guys have been super cool about everything. You guys are taking pictures with these people. You always have your signature point pose. Yes, I see you. I see you. I see you doing the point pose.
The Mr. Delicious pose.
Yeah, the Mr. Delicious, the Mr. Delicious special. But like, what's that like? You're sitting with your buddies, you're getting drunk, you're watching a White Sox game, standard Southside shenanigans, and now all of a sudden these just random strangers are like, 108, can I get a picture? That's got to be kind of weird.
You're like a minor celebrity.
It is kind of it is. It is kind of weird, but you'd be surprised how cool people are. We literally almost run into almost no trolls. We run into almost no people like in person where it gets real awkward or anything. Everyone's just sort of cool and chill, and they'll have a drink or not, and they'll come hang out for the games, or they'll come out hang out for a couple innings or something. So I was pleasantly surprised by that, because you like when you start something like this, you don't know what you're getting into, and then next thing you know, people are coming every game. And like I'm a bit of an introvert, so it like takes a lot of energy out of me. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to the game in 2 hours. I'm gonna start drinking now, so I'll be more fun and social. But I don't know how much I can take at this game. Like it gets to that point for me. Treasy and My Sox Summer, they're great with it because they're total extroverts and they like whatever. It's their life of the party. For me, it's a little more work to get myself ready.
Did you run into any issues with like security in your section where like people just want to come down?
Yeah, so what's weird about Sox Park is there could be 3,000 fans in there, and the folks at the top are still checking tickets. So sometimes you have to maneuver, or sometimes you might not be able to get down there. We'll get tweets from people or direct messages from people we hang out with a lot, and they're like, I couldn't get down because they won't let me in. They block me off. So it's not because of us. It's just because they're goofy with their security. But yeah, that does happen. Right.
So you mentioned it earlier too, the relationship with Polka. He's become kind of an icon here on the South Side. The guy fits the South Side. Just a big, hard-working, strong guy. Definitely crushes.
Hard hat, lunch pail guy.
Definitely crushes beers. But so you guys have developed a little relationship with him. Has there been anybody else in the White Sox organization that? They had to have taken notice, man. You guys are all over White Sox Twitter.
So there's been follow backs on Instagram from like Nicky Delmonico and like there's been like some minor Actually, originally the first White Sox player that took an interest in the 108 stuff was at the beginning of last year. That was Tyler Saladino, and together we did a mustache competition. So before leading up to opening day, we had, because he had that great stash, like I had tweeted something about who's going to take the mustache title or whatever. He's like, how about this, 108ers? We'll do a contest. Everyone tweets the mustaches at us, and he gave the person tickets. So we sent the guy who ended up winning a couple shirts, and he gave him tickets. It was pretty cool. Like, so there's been a little bit of player interaction. I think the front office is starting to know that we exist out there. I don't know if that's good. I don't think it is actually, but there's a little bit of player interaction.
They're pretty cool. You'd be surprised. I think I think they got burner accounts just like swimming in White Sox Twitter that we don't even know about. But
and I mean,
true.
You would think that they would almost appreciate what you're doing, because if it wasn't for like a 108ing, like for this, what's going on right now, I think a lot of people would just be like, this team fucking blows. I'm not even paying attention to this.
The 108 is like the glue that holds the White Sox fan base together
really does.
right now.
And, I mean, I know we're pumping your tires big time here, bud, but it's all true. It's all true.
It's true. It's true.
Wait, I was gonna ask who benefited more in 2018 from the whole connection between Polka and the 108? Was it the 108 or Polka? It seems like he got more popular when you guys
like happy marriage.
Yeah.
That's a good question. If you just count Twitter followers, it was Polka. More over the time that we became a bromance. His grew more, but obviously the popularity of being linked with a player, even though it's not like we're all going to have dinner before the game or some shit like that. Like my Sox Summer is Matt Polka and handed off merchandise and stuff. And we've DM'd him multiple times about things and gone back and forth a little bit, but it's not like we're hanging out on the weekends.
Right.
I feel like we need to start a segment here. Go ahead.
I apologize.
No.
I feel like we need to start a segment here with the Sunday Soak. I feel like we need to invite a player like once a week. And it can be like, Zach Galifianakis between two fronts. Could you imagine? Could you imagine him in the Sunday Soak? I mean,
yeah, but
I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great.
We've talked about. Thank you for bringing up the Sunday Soak, which for those of your fans that have not, they're uninitiated. What the Sunday Soak is at the end of a homestand, when the 108ers have been drinking their balls off all weekend, usually, or possibly for the entire week. On Sunday, after that final home game, we gird up our loins and we jump in my hot tub, which is literally 20 feet away from me, and then we try to talk about stuff. Sometimes it's baseball, but usually it's just I talk. And what we really like is to take questions. So a lot of times we'll do an hour where we just take 25 questions, and it could be about anything, favorite lunch meats or whatever the fuck. So we sort of like, it's become a mixed bag. The problem is like we've contemplated trying to get guests on it, but it is at my house, so I have to sort of like screen the guests before I'm going to have them come here where my wife and children, my daughter is. So like, it's a little, you got to be careful with that.
Yeah, no, I can see that. You might want to vet people out a little bit.
Yeah.
What's the weirdest question you've ever gotten?
Oh, what the weirdest question? You know what? Someone asked us, asked Treasy and I. Treasy and I are brothers. Asked Treasy and I who's mom's favorite. I mean, we get everything. Like people will go dig deep on us on questions. Ask us who's more handsome between a couple different. Everything is. It's no holds barred. They'll ask us absolutely everything, and we answer them all. There's nothing that we reject at all. If we get 18 questions, we'll take 18 questions in the show, no matter what they are.
It's for the people, man. That's why you guys are the people.
Man of the people. Yeah.
So before we,
I didn't even put it together. So you and Chirizi are brothers, and you're both types of meat.
We are. Yeah. So So yes, that's a good
Please
call.
Explain.
Okay. So. So we worked on our names for this because we want a little bit of privacy when you're doing some of this stuff. We're not okay. So a lot of the folks out there that are doing podcasts and videos and stuff, they may or may not have future media aspirations. The 108ers don't. We're just dickheads who like to drink and like to say stuff to people. So we're all going to have these pseudonyms, and so we were making our pseudonyms. And My Sox Summer actually had a blog previously about. He did like 50 games for $500 back in 2012 or something like that. Before they had like the real cheap upper deck tickets. So he wanted to stick with his name that was sort of an internet name that he had on Twitter and stuff. So we were messing with him a little bit. And then finally this year we had a game. My daughter was with us. We call her Bonita Steaky. She's also got a beef name. And he turns to My Sox Summer and says, your name, My Sox Summer, sucks. You need a different name. And she was, and her and Teresi were trying to get him to take the name My Sausage Summer. So he'd also be a meat prop, but he's out. He doesn't want to do it. He's a stiff dude. He doesn't want to do that shit.
I had one more. Before we get into the White Sox offseason, you mentioned before we went live that you have an event coming up. So why don't you give us the info on that now, and then we'll do it again at the end of the show.
Yeah, that sounds great. So last year, ourselves, the 108ers, and the Sox Machine guys, which is Jim, Josh, Pinols, we did a couple live events out at bars. We're going to start that up again. This year we're coining it the 108 Tour. And the first one's going to be on Friday, December 21st. It'll be at Low Res Brewing, which is 2101 South Carpenter. That's in Pilsen. And it'll start at 6 o'clock. Now, Low Res is only open till 10. This is almost like it's almost like going over to your buddy's house to drink. You got to be out of there by a certain time. So we're going to have an event over there. It'll start at 6. We'll probably start doing something live at about 7. And it's going to be our Festivus show. We're going to be airing grievances on the 2018 White Sox. So
I love that. I love that.
It'll be a relatively cheap night. They don't have food there, but we're working on it. We're gonna discuss order some pizzas in for everybody, and then so everyone can hang out and we can. We'll probably take some questions, airing grievances questions, but we've got a panel which will be the 108ers and the Sox.
That's awesome. All right, well, definitely if you guys want to check that out, we will tweet out the information as well because I'll get that from you. We'll tweet it out so everybody can have it. But I want to make sure you get that. So now, Mr. Wolf. We need to talk, pal, because you're on Father Zoe's sinners list right now. Because
sinners list.
Because I'm reading your
offseason. For me, huh? I'm off the church line if I don't settle this.
Yeah, I'm reading your offseason plan, and I'm sure we could go in order here, but I'm just going to skip to the meat and potatoes. We're going to start out hot.
Let's do it.
You're going to trade my boy. I'm very upset. Lou Bob is my guy, center fielder of the future. The man runs a 4.140. The dude, I just made that up, but it sounds good. But he runs very fast, very fast. He's going to be a great center fielder. He's batting .350 right now in fall ball. 2 at-bats today, 2 base hits, 2 stolen bases. He's the guy we need, but I understand. I get why you want to trade him, but it still makes me mad. So go ahead. So the trade that you have is Lou Bob, Spencer Adams, and Laz Rivera to Cincinnati. What? Did I pronounce it wrong? So this is what I deal with because I'm stupid. I said Rivera.
You caught yourself. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's mean.
Yep.
I think you guys were just expecting
our relationship.
He got it right. I thought it was right. I'm listening. I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah, I got it right, dicks. To Cincinnati. All right, now I'm gonna fuck this.
No, say it. No,
I can't wait. Don't
Eugenio?
Who?
Verskerges?
Suarez, dicks, and Amir Garrett. Fuck, I'm stupid. All right.
You know how I always say it? I mean, I speak Spanish, but I always say, "Hey, Eugenio." Like you're saying, "Hey, you."
Eugenio?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
I
you.
said Eugenio.
Wait, I was that far off?
What did you say, Eugene?
I'd have been too. I would have said Eugenio.
Fuck. I am super Caucasian. It's not Eugene. All right.
Anyway, let's get on.
Although I didn't say it.
Hey, Eugenio.
Eugenio Suarez and Amir Garrett. So I get Suarez because I understand that piece, but why? This is your first trade on your offseason plan. Now, I just want to know why.
Okay, so let me preface this by saying I fucking love Lou Bob too. In fact, probably look back and find tweets and or articles of me saying that Lou Bob should be considered the #1 prospect in the White Sox system. This was like a year, shortly after they signed him because the upside is so goddamn high, right? And like you mentioned, he's got elite speed. The guy's got power. Everyone says he can play center field. That's not a problem. Arm, everything, right? But eventually, the White Sox have to turn some of these prospects into a real team. And they're so deep in the outfield, I just thought, who can you get the most for in that outfield? It's easily Lou Bob. Nobody wants. I mean, maybe other people want these guys. You're not going to get a power hitting third baseman guy you can hit third or fourth who's controlled through 2024 for any of those other chuckleheads in the outfield. So my thought was they're stacked there. That's going to move up. If you ask me tomorrow, I might change that up and not deal Lou Bob and go some different direction. But I mean, if you want to get a real big piece, it's got to be Lou Bob or Dylan Cease. I mean, I don't see another way around it. I saw people bandy out like Zach Collins. No one wants Zach Collins. Nobody thinks Zach Collins can catch. Like, okay, an average first baseman, no one gives a shit. Like, you got two high-end prospects that you still willing to trade, right? You're not going to get value for Eloy right now. No. He's going to be the majors, and you need him to hit already, right? And Kopech's hurt, so I don't think you're going to get value for him. So you got two big prospects. If you wanted to like move this forward and say, okay, we're starting to trudge towards trying to win this division, you would trade one of those two guys. I don't think the Sox have the balls to do that, but I would have the balls to do that if I were in charge.
Could you imagine what kind of response you would get from your buddies in the 108 if you were the GM and you said, Lou Bob, gone? Your phone would immediately go off the chain. You'd be like, did I fuck up? Did I fuck up? I fucked up.
I mean, when it's time to buy a round, they'll probably short me. They wouldn't even include me in the round. Like, I'm sure I'd get the silent treatment for a while.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest. I feel like we're off to a good start here.
You didn't stop there.
No, but
keep going. Come at me.
We'll get back to the trades. I just need to get that. We got to clear that air before we proceed. So now that that's done,
can I ask a follow-up question on the Robert trade?
If you talk bad about Lou Bob, I will drive to New Jersey and smack the shit out of you.
I'm just curious. Was that like a stream of consciousness? Like, yeah, we'll just throw Lou Bob in there, or was it like Lou Bob and you're like, oh my god, I'm actually going to trade Lou Bob? Like, did you really did you agonize over it?
It was more like, okay, you're gonna have to fix one of these big spots with a trade. It's super hard to trade for a good starting pitcher, right? So that's going to take even more than what I put in that thing. So then I was like, okay, you got to look at center field. No one wants to trade their good center fielders. Third base looked like the only spot maybe you can maneuver a little bit. And the Reds were perfect because Suarez, and then they have Nick Senzel coming right behind him. So maybe in the real world, Senzel's the guy who gets traded. I don't know. But it was literally always either Cease or Robert. You got to make a big splash. You got to turn this team into a team that could, if they got lucky, win this division. That was sort of my shot. Like, I want to get the team to in around 500 with prospects still streaming up behind. So you got the next year you could really get better. So yeah, it was always trade a big guy for me.
Okay, cool.
Fair enough. And like you said, if you want a big fish, you got to use big bait. Yeah, so, right. Okay, I get it. So we'll start here with the arbitration eligible players because I'm looking at your list now. And I know these two, and I think we're going to agree on most of these. Okay. So Jose Abreu, $16 million. You put tender in all caps, in parentheses, medium rare, and I love that.
That's great.
He's the tastiest of the tenders.
Yes, and I think, I mean, I know I'm with you. I'm pretty sure these two are. I think that's a tender. I agree. I like his leadership potential for these young guys. He's still carrying his weight as a hitter. I don't know. I don't see why.
But
this is what
you go around and trade him. You trade him to Colorado, which I don't disagree that Colorado's a good fit for him, and they would want him. It's Jose Abreu. Again, did you have an existential, like, did you have heart palpitations while you wrote it, or were you like, just get rid of him?
No, it's not. I love Jose Abreu. In fact, I've had my seats in Section 108 since 2008. So these last 5-6-ish years, Jose Abreu has been almost one of the only things you can watch on a regular basis. Like Absolutely. When you don't have Chris Sale's on, So like, yeah, I love Jose Abreu, but Jose Abreu's in his final year of arbitration, so he's going to become a free agent anyway. If the relationship's good, you can always sign him back after that's over. So you might as well try to extract some value from him. I could have kept him on this team, truth be told, with my later moves. Like, someone argued with me, he's like, why'd you do that? You could have just kept the Abreu. Yeah, I could have, but I was trying to do something
that wouldn't
with
have been fun. Yeah.
Fair enough. No, all right. So the next one up here is Avisail Garcia. and $8 million. You put non-tender, don't let the door hit you in the ass. And for that, I give you an amen. Because
thank you, Father Zoe.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I'm good on Avi. Either you, Aldo's Nuke. You got any?
Go ahead.
Oh no.
I've said it. I want to
He's
hear
on the
what-
fence.
I want to hear what you thought about after his career year, because I said the Sox should have treated him as soon as possible after he hit, what was it, like 330 in 2017.
Yeah. Although I completely agree. And what's telling empirically is that either they chose not to trade him, which I'm not sure I believe, or they really couldn't trade him.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe no one really wanted him. Like what you're going to get back was maybe not that good, which would lead me to believe now that for 1 year, the trade value is zero. He could hit the hell out of the ball the first 3 months, and you're still not going to be able to really do anything with him. So what you're doing is shooting a $8 million shot to see if he can be good for 1 year. Now, maybe that's worthwhile. I don't know, but I sort of wanted to start going in another direction. I wanted to move on.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I think we have enough outfield talent coming up. I think it's taken up a spot, and I'm good with it.
I guess the only thing you could think about is you did tender Matt Davidson. Davidson had an incredible year if he played in Kansas City every single day. Anywhere else, he sucked.
Yeah,
but he can pitch.
Oh yeah, what do you think about that? He's trying to be a reliever in 2019.
I love it. I wish they would. I hope the Sox would take it seriously, because there's got to be at least 30 super low leverage innings where they're down 5 or up 5, where you can stick a guy in there and not waste a bullpen arm. And truth be told, the way the White Sox are constructed right now, and given their outlook, I mean, they should really be shuffling guys back and forth from Charlotte in that bullpen and keeping people fresh all the time and testing out lots of different arms. They have a ton of these young guys who have to be on the 40-man this year, because they've sort of gone out and made these little international money pool trades and stuff. And these guys are all going to have 3 options. Let's start feeding them through and seeing who sticks, and work them hard for 2 months, and then you send them back to Charlotte and bring up the next crop. And let's start seeing what we got. Oh, yeah. I would love to see Matt Davidson in there filling some of that role.
Nuke hates position. Nuke hates position players. Nuke absolutely hates position players. And me and Aldo are with you. Nuke is grinding his teeth right now because he hates position.
What's the deal, baby? How come? What's the big of the 30 low leverage innings? What's the context?
It's only when Joe Madden does it. It's only when Joe Madden does it. When Joe Madden does it, he sticks like, I don't know, somebody who's like, it's like Henry Rowengartner up there lobbing balls up there. Matt Davidson can actually throw the ball 94 miles an hour. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
In certain circumstances, I'm coming around. I don't like bat flips either, but I'm coming around.
Yes.
I'm a baseball purist.
Yes,
I'm a purist.
We're working on him. We're working on him. We've gotten him. He doesn't like.
They keep telling me to let the kids play.
Yes, he doesn't want to kill us when we talk about bat flips anymore. It's more he just silently wants me to choke on whatever I'm drinking. But we're getting better. So some of these other ones on this list, these are all, to me, are no-brainers. Yolmer, no-brainer. Carlos, well, I know Aldo's going to bring it up. Go ahead, Aldo.
To who?
My previous thoughts on Carlos Rodon that I've already admitted multiple times I was wrong.
So I think it was before he got hurt in 2017.
Yes.
Maybe? I think he started a game against the Cubs and he pitched really well. And Zoe's like, gotta build up that trade value. Zoe wanted him gone like a year and a half ago.
I did.
Such a fair weather fan.
Now, so I'll be honest with you. I don't think that's a bad take at all. In fact, they could trade Carlos Rodon this year if he had a good year. I don't think that's out of the possibility.
Really?
I mean, yeah, of course, because look at how all these injuries, not only Kopech injury and then Moncada slowing down a little bit, not having a great year, and then some of the injuries in the minors have slowed the timetable a little bit. So if you're not looking at 2020 and then you're sort of sneaking out to 2021, well, Carlos Rodon's control is almost up. So if you're going to get all the way out there, it looks like you're not going to get. Like if they don't spend this offseason, I wouldn't be surprised if they started looking that direction, and he'd be like the last trade piece of the original rebuild, where you're almost there, and you got a guy that maybe you only got a year or two left of, and you flip him off for something that you need right now.
You don't think they try to work out another extension like how they did with Sale or Quintana?
I would love it.
If he has another solid year this year, and then
I think if he had a solid year this year, that would.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy. I mean, that's the minimum bar right there. Just make 32 starts, and then we start looking at what maybe you could do there.
And we all agree that the missus has a very A+ Twitter game. She has very A+ Twitter game.
Yeah.
The screenshots of the strike zone from watching the game online and just being like, "What the shit?" is fantastic. Love it.
I actually wrote a blog post about her, and I basically just told the guys out there, find yourself a wife like Carlos Rodon's wife, like Ashley Rodon. We'll stick behind you no matter what, and we'll get in everyone's ass when they fucking put up. So like, you need that ride or die right there, and that's what he's got.
That's right. That's right.
She's like a Dexter Fowler's wife. She does the same thing.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Oh, come on. Ashley Rodon's the original G, though. She
And then-
started it.
Doing screenshots for minor league games, probably.
Yeah. So
And
we
she
talk-
goes hunting. Apparently, she's a big hunter.
Don't you start, Nuke. And then Matt Davidson, we talked about. Then you got Mr. Lurie Garcia. Sure.
Oh,
Well, yeah,
you
I mean-
need that guy. You need Lurie
Later on,
Garcia.
why you need Lurie. You see later on why you need Lurie.
Okay. And then Danny Farquhar.
Who actually has already,
Yeah, I mean they already not tendered him, but
Oh, yeah.
I would have kept him on 60-day DL'd him and just sort of wait to see if he can come back.
And then in the club option section,
Batting
I know
1,000 there.
and I know, yeah, Nate Jones pickup. Solid. Already done. James Shields. Oh, now this is your brother's guy.
Yeah, Teresi loves James. Actually, we had a big event. We actually had multiple guests at this event. This is the Sox Fest after party we had. So because the underground media, which we're quasi part of, but we're not media, it doesn't get credentialed. So we decided we're going to have a after party at Baderbrow, R.I.P. in peace. And we had a bunch of people there, and we're deciding which one of us was going to be on the panel. And me, My Sox Summer, or Treasy. And I've just told My Sox Summer, I'm like, Treasy's like the funniest guy in this room. We're going to put him up on the panel and just see what he does, right? He's been drinking a lot or whatever. And the first thing he rolled out with was like James Shields, and he's going to throw 200 innings, which was right, actually. 200 innings. Like, why couldn't he win the Cy Young this year? And just went berserk. And the crowd loved it. The rest of the panel was like, who the fuck is this guy saying this?
Does he watch baseball?
Yeah, exactly.
No, and I was a big fan of how you guys kept sticking it to him with that meme. James Shields, Cy Young. It just every time he pitched, you guys put it up, and I was like, oh, poor guy. We've all said stupid shit. Oh, man.
He will die on that hill. Yeah.
That's right.
All right, then we get to your other impending free agents, and I think all of us are pretty good with letting both these guys go, Miguel Gonzalez and Hector Santiago. I'm good on either. I mean, that's
No, Gonzalez is injured.
$6.75 million.
Yep.
Yeah, Gonzalez
I mean-
is 30, he's 35 or 36 years old too. I mean, he might just be finished. I mean, it might be over.
Yep. So now we get to the meat and potatoes here. No pun intended. Beef loaf.
The meat jokes just keep coming.
Yes, they do.
They're flowing out of Father's O like it's the homily
They're
right
spicy.
now. He's giving it to me.
So it's the free agents, and now it's funny because it's weird as a lifelong White Sox fan to be excited about a free agent period because we're so used to these cheap tight asses. But now all of a sudden we're talking about blank checks. We're talking about, I don't care. I'm going to get them. I don't know if old man Jerry's got one foot out the door and he's just like, fuck it, spend it. But
Rick Hahn said they're going to compete. I'm going to hold him to his word.
yeah, blank check.
Right.
Got to.
He walked that back really quick, by the way, but still he's like, whoa.
I didn't mean
Yeah. I was referencing the 1996 Disney movie about the blank check. That was fantastic. Now, if anybody
geez.
gets that reference, plus 2 points for you.
Yes.
So your first free agent is the ageless wonder, Andrew McCutchen. 3 years, 48
only 32
million.
years old though.
I know.
Only gonna be 32.
He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys though that he feels older. Just like you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
he came up early. He was young, I think. I think he was like 21 or 22. So he's been in the league a while.
but
still, and they signed him to one of those free agent extensions.
Extensions,
so
right?
He's finishing up the last year of that.
Was productive with the Yankees. You know, he showed up. You know,
Role player.
Yeah, role player, nothing crazy. But the way that you broke it down here, meh in right field, and he'll be asked to, I like how you said that. So he'll be asked to fake center field occasionally. But
he probably won't be as bad and as fat as Griffey was when he played center in 2008. It probably won't look that terrible. But
that's true.
He'll be like in that little area of terribleness, but not quite as fat.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. He's an upgrade offensively in any way from Adam Engel, and if you use Adam Engel as a late inning defensive replacement, then not bad.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And truth be told, in this grouping here, I would actually have him starting in right field most of the time, and he's a large upgrade in on base percentage over Avi, just career wise, and even just last year, I think the worst of the two. I think McCutchen's career on base is 378, and last year was 368. I would take 350. If we could do 350 for 3 years for the Sox, that'd be humongous. Because the White Sox, their highest qualified on base percentage guy was Jose Abreu at like 325 or something. Narvaez was 366, but he only had 320 plate appearances. So you need more. I need more guys making left-hand turns at first, basically on this White Sox.
So if you're going McCutchen for 3 years, are you doing alternating options for years 2 and 3, like team option at 2, player option at 3?
No,
or are you just straight 3?
Just straight 3. And one of the things I noticed in a bunch of other plans was they were really trying to shorten these deals and make them so short. Fuck it, make those deals longer. If some young buck comes up and beats him out of that spot, well, then you get your ass on the bench and we'll play Luis Basabe, whoever's better than you. Good teams operate like that, right? A good team has 25 good players on their team, not praying to God that the prospect actually shows up and is great when they show up. Let there be a good guy in there, and then that prospect pushes that guy out of there. I want the White Sox fan base to start thinking like this. Like, don't just – like, I can still remember when Gordon Beckham was, like, just happening. It was like, everyone's fucking praying for him to come up and save the day. It's like, no team should operate this way, man. The guy should be able to come up.
He is a quad A all-star.
Yes, exactly. And then the bad part was he hit for like 2 months, and so we thought, oh, great, this is going to work.
He's like in and out. He's in and out. All right, so I got a question for you for the outfield. Since we're going in on McCutchen, I know you got Maben in there too, and then the other two that we'll talk about. But the outfield has some interesting free agents this year. Well, obviously Harper. So my first question is, 1, would you want Harper? 2, would you take McCutchen over Nick Markakis, who's a career like over 300 hitter, just a baller? Those are my questions.
First one, Harper, absolutely. I mean, I would love to fucking have Harper in right field. I think that's too far right now for like. I think asking Jerry to spend on a couple of these guys, giving them 3 years and maybe 15 or 20 per. That's about the extent of what he's going to do right now, because he can't really see like, okay, this is happening. These guys are like bridge guys, right? But maybe in 2 years when someone's available that's a big superstar, maybe. But I would fucking love to have Bryce. I would love to have Bryce Harper stationed right by Section 108.
That's what I was going to say.
I feel like he would.
It would be perfect, you know? And then regarding the second question, I would take McCutchen over Markakis just because of the age. Markakis, I think, is 34. 34? Okay, I will arbitrage the 2 years. I prefer to have the slightly younger guy, even though, I mean, Markakis is a big on-base guy, just like you're saying. Good right fielder, so he does fit the spot too. If they went out and signed Nick Markakis, I'd be fine with that. But I'd prefer McCutchen.
Splitting hairs.
That's splitting hairs. Exactly.
What's the most that you would pay McCutchen?
Yeah, where's your cap?
I think I put 3 for 48 in there. I mean, maybe I'd go up a little higher. I don't think there's a big demand though for sort of right field only, not big power hitter, just on base guys. Mm-hmm. It feels like the good teams are pretty much set in those. I mean, maybe Cleveland has a terrible outfield. But other than that, everyone else is like kind of set in those outfield spots. So I don't know that I'd go much higher than that just because demand. You could flip him out for, like you said, Markakis. I mean, Adam Jones doesn't get on
There's
base.
Adam Jones there too. Yeah, exactly.
He's a better defender. He hits for more power. I mean, like you could switch that out. So I probably wouldn't go much higher.
All right. I just have this because I'm simple. Have this picture of Bryce Harper standing in right field with his glorious flow going and like an American flag in the background, and you and your brother half drunk hanging over the fence.
I mean, we already have that with Polka. I mean, you could literally like hurl a Coors Light out to him, and he'll probably like smash it over his head, Stone Cold style, and crush it.
And eat it.
He's probably got one in his back pocket that you just don't know because he's so burly.
Yes.
I was going to say that he probably does. You're probably right about that. I envision him crushing Bruce. I don't know for sure, but I envision. The only picture I think I've seen on Instagram or anything of him drinking is like him out with his either girlfriend or fiance out to dinner, and they're actually drinking wine. So that sort of shocked me a little bit. But you know what? Big guys like me drink wine, so there's no problem. I love it.
There you go.
So now, time out for a second. Time out. We got some breaking news. So this is Cub related, so you guys can drink while I read this off. But Aldo, I'm gonna need your instant reaction.
Ooh, what is this?
This is from the bow tie bandit Ken Rosenthal.
Oh, I see.
Cubs might make a trade to clear salary before picking up Hamels' $20 million option, sources tell The Athletic. At this point, a long-term deal for Hamels is unlikely. If Cubs decline option and make Hamels a free agent, the Rangers will pay his $6 million buyout, but the goal is to keep him. All of the comments underneath it are bye-bye Chatwood, rest in peace Chatwood, smell you later Chatwood. So, Aldo, you good with that?
If Theo Epstein somehow finds anyone to take Tyler Chatwood, give him Executive of the Year already, because that guy sucked.
Fair enough.
And I have no clue why anyone would want
Tyler Chatwood sucks again.
Like 2 more years and like $24 million left of Tyler Chatwood. But I mean, yeah, obviously you want Cole Hamels back. He has like, I think it's $20 million for 2019.
Yep.
And I think they obviously want to keep him. And so yeah, if it's Tyler Chatwood, like thanks for all your terrible starts.
Well, let's say this though. I mean, they're not declining the option on Hamels.
Right.
No, I think the only way they would decline it is if they're working out a multi-year deal, which basically just screws the Rangers because the Rangers have to pay that $6 million buyout.
Yeah, which is not well. To some, it might be a reason to do it, but I don't see it happening.
That would be kind of a bad look, though. That would be like a little, hey, come on, we traded you this guy so like we wouldn't have to get that money.
And just to bring people in, and especially you, BeefLoaf, we had an ongoing joke during the season where we controlled the push notifications for the Sports Mockery app, and every once in a while, Aldo would just push out Tyler Chatwood still sucks. And that push notification would go out to the hundreds of thousands of people that have the Sports Mockery app. Actually, everyone listening, go download that now. And he would send that push notification out.
Brag, bro.
And Mr. Beef, I'll relate it to you. You thought that Lucas Giolito couldn't find the strike zone? Tyler Chatwood was like 10 times worse.
His ERA was better.
Somehow.
I was going to chime in on this this Cubs thing with your permission, of course.
Absolutely.
Okay, I agree 100%. You have to pick up Cole Hamels' $20 million option. That's just a no-brainer in my opinion. And the other thing I was going to say is if they find someone to take Tyler Chatwood's money, sort of unconditionally, I would raise my hands. Collusion is going on. There's no way I'm going to take that shit. You got to turn it back into something.
Right? It has to be like literally the no-namest prospect ever in return. Like, because they have to send someone back. Like, you can't just be like, yeah, here you go. Thanks. Thanks
I
for.
I guess the way you could do it is
you could help the White Sox.
Cubs could send a real prospect with him. You send a real prospect with him. Yeah,
Or eat 95% of his salary and just say,
please. Or eat a bunch of his salary, right?
That's kind of what I've been hoping that they would do with Hayward, but that's not. That's not happening.
Tyler Chatwood has been traded for BeefLoaf and a case of Miller Lite.
For Mr. Delicious and Spicy.
I would actually veto that trade. No way I'm losing the one.
I would. No way. Yeah,
No
that's
way.
right.
No way.
No way you go north side.
We shan't be broken up. I do occasionally end up in Wrigley Field for a ball game, and I don't mind going to Wrigley Field. It's not my it's not my comfort zone because it's not my home seat there. My 81 games in 108, but I have a good time when I'm there, even in a non-rooting capacity.
Of course.
Absolutely. No,
and this
historic.
We gang up on the Cubs every now and then.
Yeah,
but we do like them.
Yeah, it's 2 versus 1 on the show, but Aldo has such
Aldo does a really good job of defending them.
Aldo
I'm really excited now. Tyler Chatwood might be, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think we just made Aldo's night. He's very happy now.
move Chatwood with Addison Russell, and then maybe get something back. Do that.
Brimming with optimism.
Mm-hmm. I'll just say after this news, I'm just glad that the camera's only from the chest up on Aldo, because
the chub is epic.
Yes,
you got to put that behind the paywall. All right, you can't.
So, all right, let's get back to the White Sox offseason here. The big name pitcher you have on here is Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, it makes me sick to sign Patrick Corbin for 4 years and all that fucking money. But guess what? The White Sox need a top of the rotation arm. The one we thought we had has Tommy John surgery right now. Won't be back till 2020. So, it's going to need a little bit of time. And also, he wasn't quite a finished product yet anyway. So you could sub in, I don't like Dallas Keuchel either. I mean, you could sub in someone else in that spot. But I just thought Patrick Corbin's probably the best.
Eovaldi?
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, Nathan Eovaldi would be cheaper than him, but Nathan Eovaldi is probably risk. Well, I mean, they're probably equal risk. Yeah, I like Nathan Eovaldi too. I actually liked him even back when he was with the Yankees when he threw 100 miles an hour and struck nobody out. He threw it on everyone's bat 97 miles an hour. It was weird. It's this guy has all his velocity and they can't miss him. So, but glad to see a change in the pitch mix to get him up to his potential. But yeah, I would love Nathan Eovaldi for sure.
Would a starting pitcher be your number one priority?
I think for this team, I think my number one priority is to add on base percentage to the offense at all costs. I think I'd be willing to struggle with another bad starting rotation. I'm not a big fan of what Lucas Giolito's done, but I would give that a shot again. I'd be willing to take a little more risk on that side. On the offensive side, I think we need to start shoring things up.
Need some production.
Yeah. No, I mean, the White Sox, for the past, obviously they've been rebuilding now for 2 years, but before that, they've always been a low on base percentage team.
Yeah, but they were built for power for a while.
Well, segue.
That's fine if you hit 220 homers. But
exactly.
Segue.
Adam Engel starting in center.
Keep saying segues, though.
I know. I'm segueing with the power numbers to Josh Donaldson.
Josh Donaldson.
I like this.
Okay, so
up until probably May, which is only the second month of the season this year, I love Josh Donaldson. So which Josh Donaldson do you want? 2016 Josh Donaldson or 2017, 2018 hurt Josh Donaldson who can't figure out how to hit again?
Well, so in my plan, as we let off with, I would trade for Eugenio Suarez. He would play third base. Josh Donaldson will play first base on this team. And the reason why is because I think Josh Donaldson's terrific bat comes back if he has less responsibility on defense. And so you lower that injury risk, you slide him over to DH occasionally maybe, and you let Matt Davidson play first base and, against lefties or whatever. You sort of limit your risk with Donaldson. You can still use him at third if you need to in a pinch. Suarez came up as a shortstop. I don't know if I want to see him very much at shortstop, but you can have your full house infield if you want occasionally. But it just sort of limits the injury risk if you move Josh Donaldson to an easier defensive position. So that was my thought. If I could just revive the bat, the White Sox could really use that fucking bat.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have to be a 6-win player anymore.
Now, before we get into the trades, Nuke, did we miss any free agents that you want to plug in here?
It's such a wild year where, literally, and I think Mr. Delicious addressed it. You can pretty much, you have your top guy, but it's 1A, 1B. All right, we'll switch out McCutchen for, Harper, of course. Or if it's not Harper, maybe there's Andrew Jones or Nick Markakis. You'd probably be okay as long as you're not overpaying for most of those. Josh Donaldson, to me, I want 2016 Josh Donaldson.
I think Josh Donaldson
But,
wants 2016 Josh Donaldson.
I think the best part about this team right now is this offseason is going to be fun. And even back in 2016, it was fun because it was like, all right, we're doing something totally new that the White Sox have not done ever. And, that all that optimism, all that fun took you through the 2017 season. Then 2018, we were kind of like, we could be really good. And, these guys are going to come up and it's going to be all right. And if they're just, no expectations, go out there and go for broke. And then Carson Fulmer came out and it was like, oh, man, there's a big turd. P.S. What do you do with him? Get rid of him. Yeah. But, this is the fun part because this is the year where you're going to see, you mentioned it, Jimenez is going to be up after April 15th. And you're going to see some other arms. You won't see Kopech, but Zach Birdie's coming back. Hopefully Alec Hansen puts it back together. Dylan Cease might force the issue in the middle of the season. You just get rid of Kevin Smith, and now you could see Zach Collins and Sebi Savala come up at some point because I don't think they're going to play any kind of, service time games with those guys. But
I agree
it's
with you.
that time.
I think the service time game thing is done. I think Eloy will be the last one, unless 3 years from now, maybe they, the guy, whoever they draft in this coming draft is like a big ticket item. Maybe they hold that guy back, but I think they're probably done with that shit.
Well, and they had the perfect excuse with Eloy that he started in AA, and they want to see him hit certain benchmarks. And I mean, I said it from the beginning, I'm like, there's no way he comes up, no way. And what do you do? Whatever time you do in September, you're going to tack on to next year. If he's this kind of guy, this Babe Ruth player, don't even play with it. Just go ahead. Have fun for 2 weeks. You can sit on the bench for 2 weeks in Charlotte. I don't care. You'll be up here, and then you'll get a full season plus the extra season. So, I like you, Mr. Delicious. I want to see them actually compete and see a little, at least 500, like you say. Because they're capable of that. Because Lucas Giolito should be better than what he is, and I think he's going to be better than what he is, what he's shown. Because I think he's got the head to do it. Yoan Moncada is going to figure it out. He's still only 22, 23 years old. Reynaldo Lopez is going to get better. Carlos Rodon was lights out when he came up last year.
When he lost the undershirt. It's all about
the exactly. And he went, full chest lettuce out.
He's like really showing it. Yeah, that's
And I think I think the guys are kind of, gelling a little bit. I feel like from the outside, you're looking at guys that kind of like each other and are really bonding together on it. I think the outfield, there's going to be some shuffling. I think, like you said, there's a possibility of Avisail Garcia not even coming back. If they do bring him back, and he lights the world up by the trade deadline, he might be something, but he's not going to be anything that he was. And I agree with you, too, that last year, no team wanted him because he had all this promise for 5 years that never panned out. He has one good year. What teams they'd be silly to overpay for him. And so, I think like Nicky Delmonico might be on the fringe on the, especially when you sign someone like either McCutchen or Jones or Markakis. Polka's earned himself another year. And then Eloy comes up and then, then Adam Engel's probably on the chopping block. So
you're right. But you bring up a good point there about Nicky and Adam Engel. See, good teams have a Nicky and an Adam Engel hanging out in AAA. And when you get an injury, they come up and they have a tool or two that work, and you can play them for a month, and it's not that bad. They can at least do some stuff up there, right? The White Sox, like the last group, the Sale and it, then J.B. Shuck was in center field, and I'm watching him play center field. I'm like, this guy can't hit, and he can't play center field. What the hell is this out here? You need those guys. So, people were shitting on Nicky towards the end of the year, and I'm thinking, yeah, okay, Nicky's not an everyday player. I think we're figuring that out. But if you have Nicky in AAA and you got to bring him up for a month to fill in for someone, he'll give you a month of decent at-bats. And if you got to bring up Adam Engel for a month, he'll give you a month of good center field. You have to hit him ninth, and maybe he doesn't hit very much, but it'll be a good base runner, play defense for you.
Exactly. Gold Glover this year.
Nominee.
There's a hot take of the night. There's the hot take of the night. Zoe, I want to build a statue for Adam Engel out in center field. And Zoe will not get on board for this.
No, I will not. The only thing that statue can do is hold Lou Bob's place. All right, and then when Lou Bob gets there,
Talking about he's traded.
move it over. So
He's gonna be with the Reds. What are you talking about?
we're not going to talk about. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that trade, but you do have other trades.
Yeah,
So
I do. Yes.
You are trading Lucas Giolito and Jordan Stevens to Baltimore for Dylan Bundy. I like this move.
I don't
Thank
mind
you.
that. If you can get Dylan Bundy for that.
Yes, I would. When I was reading this, I mean, I was agreeing with a lot of what you said, and then I got really mad because I read the Lou Bob trade, and then I read this trade, and I was like, okay, BeefLoaf, all right, I'm feeling it. All right, so I do like this move. If you're able to pull a player like Dylan Bundy out for those two guys, I'm in.
Okay, so let me jump back for one quick second, then we'll get to this trade because there were people messing with me about this trade. So I did also put in there to sign Cameron Maben for 2 years and $10 million.
Yes,
just to displace Adam Engel because I need at least a suitable bat in there. Okay, I can't. If Adam Engel wins the Gold Glove, I'm so terrified they'll win. Like I'll be so happy for him.
They'll extend him.
The guy, he works his ass off. I'm worried about Gold Glove Adam Engel trotting out there for 162 games next year, and I'm just like, I can't watch him bat anymore. I look away. Like only the one who's got a big foul pole in the way. We don't have to watch him hit. I don't want to see it. Like seemed like a nice guy, and he works hard and everything, but I want a major league hitter in that spot. So that's why I plugged in Cameron Maben. He's not that great, but he's got a 325 career on base. Let's just let him man center field. So this trade. So my thought process in this trade was the White Sox. We were talking about hitting or pitching, which you rebuild first. The White Sox don't strike anybody out. Like in the era of everyone strikes out all the time, and bullpens have 30% strikeout rates as a group. The White Sox don't fucking strike anyone out. So I was looking sort of at them and like, who's ready to give up on a starting pitcher? And I'm like, maybe the Orioles would trade.
Yeah.
Maybe they would trade some years, right? Because you got more years to control with Giolito, and then obviously Jordan Stevens is fresh. You can take him on. And someone in the comments on Sox Machine said, I don't understand why you're trading Lucas Giolito for older Lucas Giolito. I'm like, you nailed it, but I need more strikeouts, a little more. I know Dylan Bundy gave up 41 homers last year. Maybe that doesn't happen again. And with the strikes that people
I don't know. Like I said, I'm with you on this move. That is a pretty funny comment, though. It's fair. It plays. It definitely plays, but I don't know. I don't mind this move at all. And then your last trade, though, this is a bombshell here. Beef. This is you're trading my guy, everyone's guy, but Jose Abreu and Yolmer Sanchez to Colorado for John Gray. Now, Nuke, I know you touched base on this earlier, so I'm gonna let you go while I try not to cry just thinking about this.
You know what? This is the one I don't mind the most. I don't mind this one because, like you said, Mr. Delicious, Jose Abreu, if he's the guy, this year, 2019, we're not winning a World Series. Well, we might, but we're not winning a World Series.
Watch your dirty tongue.
I know. But you can go bring him back in free agency. You're going to overpay for him. I bet you sour a little bit, of that relationship with him. But, I mean, the saddest part of this, well, John Gray's great. I think he, again, adds to that pitching staff. But Yolmer Sanchez, you won't have Yolmer.
Yeah,
that's the one that hurts.
Yolmer's so much fun too. Like it was tough, but I'm like, I don't think in a trade like that, I don't think Abreu straight up gets it done for a John Gray. Even though Rockies have sort of soured on, right? They sort of have their starting rotation, and they're all young guys too, and they pitched great this year. And it's like, but you can still find a use for John Gray. I mean, like,
of course,
he's got a lot of talent. Like, so I thought you needed to add another piece. There were people who told me that trade was still too light. Like, you would have needed to add more to get John Gray. I'm not sure about that, but we'll see.
Yolmer's a good piece. And then Jose Abreu, it's hard to trade first baseman just because there's a lot of good ones out there, and they're pretty one-dimensional players. And I think the game is shifting a little bit more to multi-dimensional players, a little bit more dynamic speed power combinations like the White Sox are going to be, which really excites me. But, it's unpopular to get rid of Abreu, but, no one's going to give up a lot for 1 year of control.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Especially when they know they'll bring them home in 2020 when they win the World Series.
Him and Trout.
That's what I have to tell myself. I just let me get through this, guys. Just let me. I'll get there. All right. So after all those moves are made, this is what your lineup looks like. Right field, McCutchen. Second base, Yo-Yo. First base, Donaldson. Third base, Suarez. Left field, Eloy. Doesn't matter the first 2 weeks. They could put a fucking statue of anybody out there. I don't give a shit.
You mean a bronze statue of Adam Engel?
Yeah, that'll actually probably just do fine.
They'll just put his gold glove up in the box, right?
He'll hit it just as much.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yes. Your DH is Polka Power. Center field, Maben. Shortstop, Timmy. And your catcher is Navarez, with your bench being Lori Garcia, Davidson, Castillo, and Rondon. Starting pitching, Corbin, Rodon, Lopez, Bundy, and Gray. And your relievers are Jones, Fry, Garrett, Covey, Mignon. Fuck, I was doing so good.
Minaya. Is it really that hard?
I know it's, but he's reading fast, so I it's okay. That happens.
Bummer and Ferrer. So that's a 500 team.
I think it's a 500 team. And I didn't touch the bullpen. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
That was on purpose. I thought you can't fix everything, and part of the reason too that I traded Abreu is because when you sign Donaldson and Abreu are like the Abreu and Yolmer money is the same as the Donaldson money almost. So you're just adding years to the whole thing there. But my thought with leaving the bullpen the same is this is the best place to garner some upside. Some of these guys are going to become real guys, and they're going to be the type of guys you'd spend 3 and 30 for out in free agency. So let's just find out who those guys are right now. And maybe you find a bunch of them. And maybe you get surprised by this bullpen and how good it is. I don't know. Maybe they're shit, but we'll give it a shot.
Well, I think what the White Sox did, they actually did this a lot last year, was make trades or make small, the most traded player in history cash considerations.
Yes.
To pick up these, AAA guys like Frere, and there were a few others I think they got late inning bullpen guys Vieira, yeah. And so Frere and Vieira, I don't even know if I'm saying that name right. I'm definitely butchering that one. But they could be something special. But, they're cheap right now. Let them go out and play, compete,
Yeah, let's check it out. Let's see what it is. You cobble together a lot of these arms. Let's start running them out there and seeing them too. One thing I noticed about a good chunk of the bullpen guys that made appearances this past year was that their ERAs were significantly higher than their FIPs. Now, the advanced stat people tell me that the FIP is more predictive than the ERA. So maybe Jace Fry is as good as he looks, and the ERA is good, I think it is, right? Because watching Jace Fry, he looks like a guy. I mean, his fiance broke it off with him in a very ugly display on his phone.
Yeah, that was ugly.
I'm not hold that against him, okay?
She's still taking shots at him.
If someone had told me, we just started a new thing on our blog where we're doing sort of friends and family of the White Sox interviews. So we did an Ozzie Guillen Jr. one. We actually have the next one. I'll spill the next one on the way. The next one on the way is Daniel Palka's brother, Matthew. We're going to do an interview with him. So we're going to start doing stuff like that, which we think is kind of fun. Baseball's about family, and you go with your family and friends to games and stuff. So we thought, well, let's get this angle up. And someone suggested that we should interview his ex-fiance.
Oh, jeez.
We're out on that.
That's cold-blooded. It's that was a good idea. No, it's not.
No. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm staring at this lineup, and I've been staring at it for a couple of days now. And I like it. And the reason why I like it is because they sucked balls this year. And this is a completely different lineup. This is different. If they did something, if not exactly this, but something similar in the way of a shakeup, it would show me that this rebuild is progressing. This is a step forward. This is not them just being like, well, these are our guys. Let's do the same shit and hope something different happens. This to me would be a progressive. You got, your gap guys, like you said, McCutchen and stuff like that. And I actually would really love McCutchen on his team. I think he's just an A+ guy to begin with. And you get some of these kids like Eloy and shit up there. You're losing.
Yeah, it'd be good mentorship too.
Exactly. And I mean, you're losing.
Let him watch a professional guy who's been MVP work. and then they
Exactly.
realize what work ethic needs to be.
Exactly. And I mean, you're losing that in Jose Abreu, but McCutchen is a more than admirable fill-in for that type of position on a team. So, but again, it's different. I can get excited about some of these guys in the lineup. I can, justify freezing my balls off when it's, 40 degrees in April trying to watch this shit.
Because literally, if you hope for McCutchen, 2016 McCutchen, and you hope for 2016 Donaldson, and yeah, you're looking good.
For sure. And what I was going to say, Father Zoe, you can do all of this stuff and kill the Lubob trade, right? Don't even do the Lubob.
Kill the Lubob trade.
Now I'm all in. Now I'm all in.
Make the shirt.
Now. Let's go.
You burn no real prospects, and you probably built a team that's like, let's say, Zips is going to come out and say this team is a 77-win team or whatever the fuck. That's a watchable team, right? That's not like you're exactly talking. We have been watching bullshit baseball for 2 years, basically. It's been a dog shit garbage team that is super hard to watch. If you're someone invested, a fan invested in the game, and you don't have to be at the ballpark all the time like we are. If you're just your ass is in front of the TV and you're watching even half these games, they're super fucking hard to watch. And so anyone with that perspective would like to see them spend some money, even on rich guys, to just make this thing palatable until we get to the good stuff that comes up from the minors.
Yes. So Rick Hahn, I know you listen to this show, you sneaky bastard. Make this shit happen. We know you got the burner accounts. We're on to you. So make this shit happen. Not Rick Hahn. I'm not believing that ruse.
Well, I got another question.
Go for it.
You, Mr. Delicious, you spent 81 games out there in right field. Are you okay with Rick Renteria hanging in there?
That is a good question. There's Joe
Girardi. He's waiting for that job in Chicago.
There's one thing that gets argued about more amongst the 108ers, and not even just at the ballpark. Treasy's in a band. They're called Barren Plains, and they're like a hard rock band. We were all out at the show, and in between bands, we were literally talking about Ricky Renteria. Like, some guys just fucking hate Ricky Renteria, will run him out of town, etc. And for me, like with the coaching staff, it's tough to tell because they haven't had much to work with. I don't like Ricky as a tactical manager yet. Like a lot of the shit I'm seeing is like, as someone who doesn't, I understand the, the numbers and the advanced metrics. I did not play ball though. So like I see them doing a lot, like they intentional walk a lot. They bunt a lot more than average. Like they do a lot of things that, I just think, well, tactically maybe they're not trying to win the game. What's that? I'm sorry.
I'm a big fan of bunting.
You're
I'm making no bones about it.
Here's the problem with bunting, okay? And not well, there's that. But I mean, forget even 10 years ago when everyone's saying, well, you shouldn't bunt, you shouldn't bunt. But now what started to happen with the game is everyone strikes out so fucking much, and everyone launch angles so much. No one hits fucking singles anymore. So like the bunting, the value of the bunting was when you had guys that made a lot more contact and would hit singles, and so you can get that guy from second. And the White Sox for sure don't have those fucking guys. Like they strike out all the time. Like if you got a team that makes contact, I could see it. I could see spots for it, and then I'm open to it. I'm not totally anti-bunting, but on that squad over there, no one making contact. So we need to hit some home runs.
Wait, real quick. Beef, do you know why the Red Sox won the World Series?
Do I know why they won the World Series?
Yeah. No, it's because they don't fucking bunt. That's why they fucking won the World Series.
It's because they have the 3 best defensive outfielders out there. I mean, they have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that helps. But the main reason they won the World Series is because they don't bunt.
If I had a lineup full of Mookie Betts, I would never bunt either.
No. JD Jumbo Dong out there. Oh, man. Dude, the Red Sox. I don't think we've done a show since the World Series, so shout out Red Sox because you're an absolute unit. Somebody on this show that's very handsome and smart called that. Oh, that was me.
Opening day, you have Ricky calling Donaldson to bunt with like a runner on. Like, what do you do?
Oh. So
I sort of get, with Ricky, I sort of get like him having Adam Engel bunt, right? Adam Engel's a very bad hitter, and he's not quite a pitcher, but I get that shit. But then like Moncada's going around the bunt. I don't want to see that, man. We need Mercado to learn how to hit home runs. Like, fuck this bunting. Now, if the guy wants to learn how to bunt for a hit, that's different. But a sacrifice bunt, fuck that shit. Let him strike out.
Preach.
Bunt one time, and I was like, Polka don't bunt.
No.
No, but there's no. Polka would try to bunt a home run. I mean, like, he doesn't know anything else other than swinging real hard.
Like I have bat, I swing.
That's the Polka, baby.
Oh man, all right. I'm looking at the clock. We went over. I don't give a shit because this was a fun show. So before we wrap stuff up here, BeefLoaf, one more time, let the people know where they can find you and talk about your event one more time.
Okay, sounds good. So you can individually find me at Mr. Delicious 13 on Twitter. You can find the 108ers, and if you're listening to this, you probably have maybe run across the 108. Maybe someone you follow retweeted something dumb we did. You can find us at From the 108 on Twitter. That's also a good spot to click down through to find blog posts of ours on our WordPress site from the 108, and also we do Periscope videos. In fact, we're trying to get more into doing videos. I've been doing videos about where I explain in layman's terms various advanced stats. We're going to push out a little more in that.
Those are actually very helpful.
Thank you. I appreciate
those are very helpful.
If you guys got suggestions, let me know. Something you want to hear, like teased out a little bit. Teresa and I are actually discussing maybe doing some discussing contracts a little bit, maybe discussing trade value. Just trying to get people to understand, like, you can't cobble together your 7 worst players and get Mike Trout. Like, try to get everyone to think okay, what would the other side want, sort of thing. Like, what we're discussing doing that stuff. So obviously we have the Sunday Soak, which is a franchise, but it's been on hiatus right now. Doesn't mean we'll do cold Sunday Soaks. We definitely do them. We're still working on trying to get another one going. But the event that we have coming up very soon is our Festivus event, our airing of grievances. It's going to be at Low Res Brewing on Friday, December 21st at 6 p.m. That's 2101 South Carpenter, and that's in the city. That's in the Pilsen neighborhood. Great brews there. It's going to be us, the 108ers, and Sox Machine. Okay, so if you know Sox Machine, they have blog, podcast, all that stuff. We're going to team up, and I heard the Festivus poll will make an appearance. Chances are we'll order pizza. So even if you don't, if you hadn't planned on eating, we'll get some food. The problem was we schedule these things, and we've done these in the past. We have to have food because the 108 crowd is a hard drinking crowd, and if you leave them foodless, bad things happen. So we have to get something.
So, all right. Well, hey, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. And you know what? It takes a good sport to, let us rip through your off-season plan blog like this. So we really appreciate you coming on. Nuke, Aldo, you guys got anything else?
No, thanks for coming on, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Mr. Beef.
Yeah.
Going.
Aldo, Father Zoe, thanks so much for having me on. Happy to come on any other time. You want to talk gambling, you want to talk drinking, whatever the fuck, man. We'll just talk about anything. Don't have to be baseball. I'm happy to come on. I'll bring Teresi with me next time.
I like it.
Awesome.
Can we invade the Sunday Soak? Can we make it a pair thing?
Possibly. Let's talk off season. We definitely can get together and maybe brainstorm some ideas about this.
I like it.
It's strange that I'm so infatuated with the Sunday.
I was going to say, you're really pushing to get in a hot tub with these dudes. You're really, really trying to do that.
The amount of people in my life that know about the Sunday Soak, even people who I am a colleague of in my professional life who know about it, is sort of embarrassing because I'm like a 40-year-old man and I have no clothes on and I'm talking about baseball. And people that I show up to work and see every day know about it. So everything's up for grabs now. I don't care. I just got to let it all out there.
It's all out there, man.
Do people at work call you Mr. Delicious?
No. My colleagues have said, "Oh yeah, I saw some of the Sunday Soak on Facebook," and I'm thinking to myself, I have just swim trunks on in the Sunday Soak, and I'm cursing every 3 words. So great, yeah, I appreciate that.
Fantastic. Well, again, can't say thank you enough. Definitely would love to do some kind of collaboration during the season and everything like that. So for Mr. BeefLoaf, Aldo Soto, Nuke, I'm Mezwowski, Father Zoe, Southside Zoe. This is Pinwheels and Ivy Podcast. We'll see you next week. And